should have. So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I've been given a topic to share with you guys, and the topic is on the Sikh governance, okay, and the role of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Now, those of you who keep up with the news, yeah, interesting things have been happening in Akal Takht Sahib. Yeah, is that gun real? Is it just? Oh, it's a toy. All right, fair to you. I'm like, just in case the talk goes wrong. Is handy? Goal? Okay. Whoa. It's too much feedback, is it? No? All right. Is that better now? Yeah? All right. Okay. Yeah, so, all right. It's a toy. I don't know what the Leicester scene's like, what the kids are like. So you have to ask, just for safety. Right. Okay. So, yeah, as I was saying, I think, can we just reduce the feedback a little bit? Because, yeah, it's just like off-putting. My voice is anyway, but when I hear it, I'm like, that's just not good. When you hear your own voice. Okay. Hello. Vaheguru. Oh, that's better now. That's. So it happens for the. Oh, okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. All right. Thank you. So it has been interesting, and there are a lot of questions people have been asking. Prior to what's been happening, nobody really knew, and I think to a point, still people don't know how Akal Takht Sahib plays a role, and how the Jathedars have been selected, how they come about, right? Who decides it, and that kind of stuff. So I think this talk here, it's come at the right time, I guess, so that we're trying to make some sort of sense of what's been happening. Okay, Ji? So what we'll do is we'll look at the history of Sri Akal Takht Sahib and the role it played and the reason why we have Sri Akal Takht Sahib. You know? And then we will go through a period where we sort of lost a bit of control, and then where we are now. Okay, Ji? Does that make sense? Yeah, all right, for two people, good. If it doesn't, then you're here now, so there's not a lot you can do. All right, you can't leave. Can you shut the doors? Lock them. All right. So, if you do want to leave, then you can do. I won't be offended. Okay. Okay, Ji. So, why Sri Akal Takht Sahib? Right. Now, it is important to know that Maharaj could have done everything from sitting on Gurta Gaddi alone at Sri Harmandir Sahib, but chooses a separate place. So that's very important to understand why. So everything that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, because this is when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj became the sixth Guru, when they sat on the Gurta Gaddi, they chose a separate place. Now they could have stayed at Sri Harmandir Sahib, right? Why was there a need for a separate place to be built, and so close as well? Those of you, hands up if you have been to Harmandir Sahib. All right, a lot of you have. Okay, that's good. So Sri Akal Takht Sahib is right there. You've been to Akal Takht Sahib as well, yeah? If you didn't, then you missed it. I don't know how you can miss it, but yeah. So when you go to Sri Harmandir Sahib, Sri Akal Sahib is so close. So why was there a need for a separate place, right? Couldn't Maharaj have done whatever they wanted to do just from Harmandir Sahib? So that is a key point to understand why that happened. Okay ji. Now there's a few panktiyan on the right, so a few Gurbani quotes you can see. Is Jaikar kiyo dharmiyan ka papi ko dand diyoe. Right. Now it is important to also look at our history and see what our gurus actually did and the prachar that they did as well. It wasn't just about just bas kalla naam japo, just look at your own personal jivan and don't worry about your responsibility to the people around you or those who maybe are in need, a dire need of your help. So it wasn't just about tusi apna naam japo, right? Here's Sikhi, here's naam, here's Amrit, take it, right? And this is something personal to you, and don't worry about anything else, right? Everything else will sort itself out. But this is not how things work in reality, okay? Now, if you want change, you have to get up and do something, okay? And Maharaj says that we will take part, active part in society, and we will face the challenges head on. And one of the reasons why Maharaj came here, it becomes more clearer in the second quote that you can see. Can someone tell me where that one's from? So first one is obviously in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. The second quote, anybody? It's a very famous one. I don't know if someone can tell me where that's from. Right? Is Dharam Chalavan Sant Ubaran Dust Saban Ko Mool Uparan. Anyone? No? Okay, Hanji. Sri Dasagman Sahib. Well done. Thank you. Yeah. So it becomes more clearer that why Maharaj came onto this, not just to liberate people and give them Sikhi and Naam, so that you have a spiritual jivan that leads to Paramatma, leads home. Okay? But at the same time, Maharaj also came to give something to those saints as well, those spiritual people. And that was a shastra in their hand. Because Maharaj knew that the times that we live in and in the future, it's going to become necessary for us to be able to defend ourselves, because no one else is going to do that. And that's why Maharaj said that I'm going to establish a place where it'll give us our own sovereignty and we will be able to make decisions, right, about our future, how we are going to lead our lives and how we're going to lead the panth. We're not going to let anybody else dictate to us how to live our dharma, right? And what we can wear, what we can't wear, which part can we do, which part we can't do. Maharaj says that no one else has that right, but we ourselves do. Okay? So, it was necessary for Sri Akal Takht Sahib to come around. So, for us, it's important to understand, as I said before, that Harmandir Sahib was already established. Okay ji? Now, Akal Takht Sahib came at the time of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. Now, carrying on why, so the Pehla Prakash happens, okay? And then Guru Maharaj's Swaroop, okay, are taken to Sri Harmandir Sahib, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Swaroop, and the first time the Prakash happened, right? And then, who knows about Kotha Sahib? Who know where Kotha Sahib is? What is Kotha Sahib? Anybody? Haji?
I don't know why it is, but I'm going to guess it's in Amritsar.
It's in Amritsar, yeah? You guessed it correct, yeah, it is in Amritsar. Haji?
Is it the place where Guruji
Guruji?
locked themselves?
Lock themselves? Not lock themselves. Anyone else? It's Kotha Sahib. Go on then.
They put a post on the front door and say.
They put a post on the front door. No, you're thinking of another Sakhi, but it's a good guess. They're different. Hanji, anybody from the back? It's all right. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Doesn't matter. No? All right. Hanji? Yeah, so when Sukhasan happens, Sri Harmandir Sahib, right, that's where they take Maharaj's stupa, Kotha Sahib. Now, Kotha Sahib was actually built before the Prakash happened. Okay? So before, if you want to go with the term, before Dharam was installed, okay, for now, from Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, so all the Bani that was of the Gurus and the other Bhagats, Maharaj compiled them all together. So that's going to become, okay, it's going to become the light that's going to show the world the way, the path. So the Dharam is going to do that. But at the same time, how do we make sure that that Dharam that we're going to practice is safe as well? Okay, so it's very important. So Maharaj took care of that as well. Maharaj didn't just give us a Dharam and said, that's it, that's all I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you anything else. I'm not going to prepare you, not going to equip you to be able to defend that Dharam, righteousness, right? That righteous way of living. So, Kotha Sahib was already there before Pela Prakash happened. So, whenever something is about to take place, right? The preparation, if you're prepared for it, you'll be able to deal with it a lot better, right? But if you react to things, then you'll always be on a back foot. But Maharaj knew that that place is going to become very important, the Kotha Sahib, and that has to be there for a reason. So, eventually, when Pela Prakash happened and Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's Shaheedi happened. Okay? Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji takes place after the Pela Prakash. Now, the Gurta Gaddi is given to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj at Kotha Sahib. Okay? And then Guru Arjan Dev Ji then calls, after the Gurta Gaddi, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj calls Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, and they say that we are going to go and give our Shaheedi peacefully. But the challenges that are going to come the Panth's way, you're going to have to then change our strategy. No longer the tyrants will understand the language of love and patience and acceptance, right? No longer they will speak that language. So we're going to have to respond in a language that they understand, right? And it was Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's instructions to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj that always, first and foremost, try and find a way out through peace. However, Maharaj also said that it's going to become very impossible and you'll have to be prepared. And Maharaj said, one of the tasks that you are going to accomplish after the Shaheedi happens, so this is before Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj leaves, before the Shaheedi happens, right, Maharaj instructs everything. And they say to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj that you're going to build a throne of Akal. Right? So all of these have been instructed to Maharaj, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. That you're going to keep Shastras. You're going to keep an army. Right? And you're going to build an Akal Takht. So from now on, no longer the Sikhs will hope for any justice from any other court or any other king, but from Akal Purkh himself. No one else is going to give you justice. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਨਸਾਫ ਦੇਣਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਖਿਆ ਸੀ ਹੁਣ ਲੋੜ ਆ if you want ਇਨਸਾਫ if you want justice then you have to go and get it yourself and then we will have to become the master of our own destiny, right? We're going to have to change things around. And it was Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's instructions. So when Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's Shaheedi happened, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj was just 9 years of age at that time. Okay? Now, we all know the Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, how brutal it was. Imagine being a Sikh at that time. Okay? And imagine hearing what they had done to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. Right? And we don't have they didn't have the history that we have now to kind of inspire them. Okay? Obviously, now it's slightly different how we would choose to react or how we take that news. But imagine back then, you had no shastras, they've not been given to you, right? And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj were taken and they were martyred in such a brutal way. And at the same time, Jahangir, who was the emperor at that time, had said that this is going to be the fate of anyone who challenges, right? Who challenges the Mughal Empire, right? And they said that this shop of falsehood, that's how they refer to the gurus, that they have opened up a shop, they are kafirs, and they need to be shut down, right? And that was the message sent, and a very strong message sent to the Sikhs by Jahangir and what Chandu did to the Sikhs, that this is going to be your fate, right? Now, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj is only 9 years of age at that time, okay? Now, you can feel or the mood of the Sikhs, what that would have been like back then, right? Now, something really out of the ordinary had to happen, and our response had to be really strong, right? Because how the Sikhs were at that time emotionally, how defeated they must have been at that time, because their Guru has been taken in such a way, and this is it, they're coming for the rest of us. How do we respond to that? Do we just go into hiding? Do we just go and say, okay, you know what, this is not worth it, right? We'll still carry on, but we will just, go underground, right? And what is going to be our response? But the response was already told to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj how they're going to respond. So 9 years of age, okay? Just remember that. Okay, ji. Now, after Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's Shaheedi happens, there was a Saj part done. The Saj part was done by Baba Buddha Ji. Okay, and then Baba Buddha Ji, when it came to the parampara of when someone's father passes away, so we have a tradition that the son receives a dastar. We give them a dastar, and it's given to them by their rishtedar or relatives. It's tied on to say that they're going to be the head of the house now, right? And then when that day came, Baba Buddha Ji then bought what they would normally have. So there was obviously a dastar, and there was a mala, okay, and there was a little manji sahib as well to carry out that ceremony. And when it was brought in, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj was looking at what Baba Buddha Ji were holding. But Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj started smiling. And other Sikhs saw that as well. And there were people who were called masans. They were the ones who would look after the logistic size of a Gurdwara Sahib, how the Gurdwara Sahib was run, when people brought in money or gifts for Maharaj and things like that. So the admin side of the Gurdwara Sahib, that was done by these masans. So these masans are very closely now watching what Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj is going to do. Now, they see Maharaj smiling at all those items being brought in. And Baba Buddha Ji asks that, Maharaj, this is what the tradition is. And then Maharaj says that this is not the time for mala now, Maharaj says. Now, this is the time for shastras. We keep our mala, but what we are going to have in our hands now, Maharaj says, we're going to have kirpana, we're going to have shastras in our hands. And Maharaj had got made 2 kirpana, 2 swords. And Maharaj says, go to the Tosha Khana where they would keep the shastras or other saman that belong to the Guru Kar. Maharaj says, go and bring those 2 talwara. And then Guru Sahib Ji then puts on 2 kirpana. So then Maharaj got them made himself. So Baba Buddha Ji and other Sikhs asked Maharaj, why this change all of a sudden now, right? And then Guru Sahib Ji says, Ab nij sikhan shastra gahave vidya kar abhyas pave. My Sikhs will learn shastras now, right? And then they will learn how to use them. Abhyas karnage. Sangar kor kare ar kahve. And they will fight fiercely. And they will kill the enemy. Kare aave. Guru Sahib bad Raj kamave. And so with the kirpa of the Guru, they will become Raja, they will become rulers. Right? Imagine now, okay, you are sitting in Sangat, right? And you know about the Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. You know that people are trying to finish Sikhi. And you're looking at the response of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. People were probably thinking, Maharaj is going to say, look, let's lie low for a while. Let's try and regroup and then do something. But Maharaj's response, right, is of an offense. You know? So it wasn't like, let's see what happens and then we will decide what we are going to do. And unlike Ajikal, how Sikhs work now is a lot different to how we were back then. Okay? We were the ones dictating a situation rather than reacting to it. We never reacted to a situation. We were the ones in control of a situation. And Maharaj knew, like Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said, that that time has gone now. They're not going to reason with dialogue alone. That dialogue has to be backed with shastras. And it's very important to know that and understand that. Now, I'll give you an example, okay? Another interesting thing going on in the world. Who's heard of Donald Trump? All right, there's a few people. Okay, now what's he trying to do?
Might be wrong, but he's trying to deport India's Bande.
He's saying, might be wrong, but he's trying to deport India's Bande. Right? It's true that he's trying to do that. He's trying to get some sort of peace deal going, yeah? Hannah? And they are having dialogue, they're speaking. But what's giving them the edge or the way that they need to be able to dictate the terms of the ceasefire? What is it at the back of it? Anybody? So they're still trying to talk peace, but it can't be possible without what? Oh, it's going to be a long night. A long one. Hanji. Strength, yeah? And where's the strength coming from? From Tesla cars? No? From Hanji?
The most weapons, the most power, the most
Absolutely. Yes, the Shastra, right? The intelligence, the planes, the ammunition, right? The Paj that they have, okay? And then they're able to dictate, go in and say, look, this is what we want. You need to agree to this, right? And Maharaj knew that yes, the road to dialogue and prem is always open, never be shut. But they knew that without the Shastra, that's not going to be possible. So Maharaj was like, that time has gone now. ਹੁਣ ਮਾਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਹੱਥ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੋ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ and then they were like Maharaj ਦੋ ਕਾਹਦੇ ਲਈ and the next bit was remember those masans I mentioned, right? And those masans, they were really happy with their life because they used to get money, they used to get the gifts, they used to keep the best gifts for themselves, everything. They didn't want any trouble, anything sort of jeopardizing their easy and brilliant life. And now all of a sudden, they're like, what, Maharaj is going to give us a shastra and we're going to have to leave all that and fight. So they're like, oh no, we can't have that. Yeah, let's go to Mata Gangaji and then say, look, can you speak to your son and, kind of try and reason with him. And Mataji then says, look, don't worry, whatever my son does, it's going to be fine. But if you really want me to speak to him, I will speak to him. And then Mata Gangaji then goes and speaks to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. And Guru Sahib Ji said, Nah chinta chit kijiye mai. Saying, don't worry about anything, mother. Yeah? Hamare Purkh Akal Sahai. Is that Akal Purkh? This is the one that's going to be our helper. Akal Purkh's got our back. Hriday alpje ahe masand, sunran ko dar tarhe biland. Those ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਮਸੰਦ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਡਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਬਟ ਸੁਣਨ ਕੋ ਡਰ ਤਰ੍ਹੇ ਬਿਲੰਦ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਰਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ now that they might have to fight ਉੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਖਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਮਗਰ when you have to fight for the ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ for the guru, right, then it's a different story. It's always been just take but when it comes to defending or fighting for your guru, then Masanta Jede, they're taking a step back. Then Maharaj says, don't worry, मैं पर्वत को गर्द में लाऊं, राज कन को सम मेर बनाऊं, संत बने प्रताप ना जाने, हतो शस्त्र में बन सावधाने. Maharaj says, don't worry, I'm going to crush the mountains, right? Meaning the biggest of problems and the biggest of challenges, Maharaj saying, I'm going to destroy them. And then says, Maharaj tare tej satgur bach kahe, humne is hit jug as gahe, ikte le miran ki miri, dusar te piran ki piri. That Maharaj says the reason why I have adorned two swords, that one's going to snatch the Miri from the Medes. It's going to snatch power from those who consider themselves powerful. I'm going to snatch their Raj. I'm going to snatch their Miri from their hands. And then with the other one, Dusarte Piran ki Piri. With the other one, Maharaj says, that's going to install the Piri, the spiritual soul within the people. दूजी कृपान दे नाल कहे राज सिख सेवक मेरे करें राज सिख सेवक मेरे दिए सकाम प्राण इस बेरे निष्कामी कैवल को पावें सहकामी सिख राज कमावें. And Maharaj says, my Sikhs will rule, Raj karnage. Right? Can you see what Maharaj's response would have been like to hear at that time? Here, there's Shaheedi happened, no one was able to do anything, and all of a sudden Maharaj is talking about doing Raj, saying, "Hun main Raj jehda hai mere Sikh Raj karya karnage." Right? Can you appreciate the mindset of Maharaj? Now, jehde te jinna andar kuch siga, those who were like, they had the warrior spirit, those jinna de andar kuch siga, jinna ne sachi Maharaj da loon khada siga. Guru Sahib ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਡੋਲੇ ਫੜਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ they were ready for that type of response. That Maharaj, that's it, just give us the order, ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਮੁਗਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੜ ਦੇਣਾ ਜਾ ਕੇ। And then there were those, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਸੰਦ, they were trying to say, ਨਹੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ, you know, let's try and find a peaceful way. But there is a point, right? There is a point. And if you carry on persisting, just because you're a kair from inside, you're a buzdil, you're a coward from inside, then Maharaj says that you will not survive for long, right? You have to kill that coward from within you if you're going to survive. And there is a point, and Maharaj said that look at the Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, how peaceful that Shaheedi was. And if that wasn't enough to change their minds, then nothing you can say or do will do that. They have to choose another way. And that way was with the Shastra. Maharaj said, now hun sama aa gaya that they're going to do Raj. ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੁਣ ਰਾਜ ਕਰਨਗੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਆ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਰਾਜ ਕਰਨਗੇ। And for that it was important for Maharaj to have a place to instruct the Sikhs from. How are we going to do that? Okay, so Maharaj then said, okay, from now on we're going to have another place. And there was a place called Akal Bunga. So Akal Takht Sahib used to be known as Akal Bunga before that. And Maharaj प्रथम अपने लेकर हाथ धरी ईंट बल तेज के साथ कहो कुछ क ऊंचा थल करो जह लग पौर एक सम करो. So Maharaj wanted a thada made, okay, and Guru Sahib Ji himself, okay, laid the first it, and just like how Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj laid the first it of Harmandir Sahib, right? A lot of the times people do this prachar of that it was laid by Miri Ji. It wasn't. It was by Guru Sahib Ji himself. Maharaj ne aap apne hathi nahi rakhi, right? And with the Sri Akal Takht Sahib as well. And then no one else helped make him. Maharaj didn't want anyone else involved other than the main Sikh in the building of Sri Akal Takht Sahib, which were Baba Buddha Ji and Bhai Gurdas Ji. Gurdas Buddhe ko lai nij saath takht aramb kar dina naath. Jeh Bhagavat thi agya dai tahan aramb Guru Ji kai. So kar ardas Sri Sat Guru पुन प्रसाद वर्ताए प्रथम नीम श्री गुर रखी अब चल तख्त सुहाए चौपई किसी राज न हाथ लगाओ बुढ़े आओ गुरदास बनाओ. So no one else was allowed to make the Thada Sahib, which became Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Maharaj himself and Baba Buddha Ji and Bhai Gurdas Ji did it. No one else could help. They did it themselves. Okay ji. तख्त ठौर ए खूब बनावो सुनो पीर जो आगे पावो. Now, Maharaj didn't let anyone else interfere. This was going to be our place. Harmandir Sahib, right? This is another thing we really need to understand. Okay? Now, Harmandir Sahib is open to anyone. Anyone can come and matha take and have prasad, do darshan of Maharaj, do bhakti there, whatever they want to do, right? But there was a place that was built by Maharaj for the Sikhs so that they're not influenced or infiltrated by anyone else. And that place is Sri Akal Takht Sahib. And Maharaj said no one else is going to build the Thada Sahib, which became Akal Bunga, which became Akal Takht Sahib, but Maharaj himself and those two Guru the Sikh, Baba Buddha Ji and Bhai Gurdas Ji. No one else could help. And Jahangir came after realizing his mistakes. Jahangir came and he offered some money to Maharaj. Said, Maharaj, you can have this Thada that you're building, we'll give you some money for it. And then Maharaj said, Kahan Guru ab nahe suhava sama paye eh adak banave. Maharaj said, I don't need your money. No one else can interfere. This is going to be built by the Sikhs themselves, with their daswand, with their money. No one else, no other Raj, no other person is going to be able to interfere. And that was a clear message by Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, that our own affairs from now on, no one can interfere in our affairs, in our political affairs. And there's a bachan of the 52 bachans of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. One of the bachans is that a non-Sikh, don't give any power to a non-Sikh. So in your so in whatever power that you hold and the powerful positions that you hold, don't give any positions out to the non-Sikh. And if we look at our itihas of how Maharaja Ranjit Singh's Raj eventually sort of like fell, the reason for that was because of the betrayal of these people called Dogri. They weren't really, they weren't Sikhs. Which ਹੋਰ ਗੈਰ ਕੌਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ, right? And that's why Maharaj said, ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਨੂੰ, a non-Sikhs not allowed to interfere in our political affairs. They shouldn't be given any positions of power, right? Maharaj knew exactly what that means and how necessary it was for us to be able to survive. Okay, ji? 1 minute, but and goes all the way back to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. Maharaj like ਹੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ, ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ this place, right, it's going to be built by ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਉਣਗੇ, no one else can interfere. ਹਾਂਜੀ, what were you going to say?
How on some sort of, when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji were younger, the Akal Takht Sahib had marble on it. Was it made out of bricks? And then in the Khalsa Raj, they put marble on it.
Yeah, so it was just a Tabla Sahib. Okay, I'm just going to answer that question. When Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj built it. But it was only until later when Maharaja Ranjit Singh came. Okay, now he built the whole sort of building, if you like, okay, on top. So he spent about 2,95,000 rupiah. So he spent that much money, almost like 10 lakh rupiah, on building the building of Sri Akal Takht Sahib Ji. Okay, ji? And he built 3 stories and the Gumba that you see at the top. Okay? And the Kotha Sahib, remember we talked about Kotha Sahib, yeah? Now Kotha Sahib was a separate building, but when the Akal Takht Sahib's, that building got built by Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji, that was all included in one then. Right? And that's how then the formation of the Akal Bunga, Sri Akal Takht Sahib came about. Okay? So at the times of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, it was just like a elevated sort of platform where Maharaj would sit. Okay? But then at the times of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he built the rest of the building. Okay, ji? Okay. Now, once it was, the Tabla Sahib was completed, okay, not the building, obviously that came later. So what used to happen? Okay. Now, first of all, asi Harmandir Sahib janne, when we go into Darbar Sahib, when we go into our own Guru Kars, when we go into the Darbar, how do we sit? ਅਸੀਂ ਚੌਂਕੜੀ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਾ, ਚੌਂਕੜੀ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ. But there's another way of sitting for the warriors, Surme, and that's called the Beer Asan. Yeah? ਇੱਕ ਗੋਡਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਲੱਤ, right? And ਇੱਕ ਥੱਲੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. Okay, if you see in the image how Maharaj is sitting, right? Yeah, ਇੱਕ ਗੋਡਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਨੂੰ, ਇੱਕ ਥੱਲੇ, right? So a Bir Asan position is like that. So it was important to change the psyche of the Sikhs, and the physical discipline was made necessary to give the right message out. Okay, subconscious messages, or how we see somebody, without even them the way they are, they send certain messages. And Maharaj, from that day onwards, after visiting Sri Harmandir Sahib, when the Asa Ji Di War Kirtan would happen, right, Maharaj would then leave and go to Sri Akal Takht Sahib, where the Thada was. And from a chonkadi, right, cross-legged, Maharaj would go and sit in a Birasana. So it's to show that, look, Bhakti, now this is the time for Shakti, saint and soldier. So this is how we work, right? Maharaj changed the physical attributes as well, so how we conducted physically as well. So Maharaj ne Birasana panaya for us vele. Birasana ch behna Maharaj ne. Te what used to happen at Akal Bunga and as a daily routine was you'll have Tadi Vara. And there's two famous Tadis, Natha and Abdullah, would come and sing Vara. Now Vara, like, they will sing the war ballads. So try and instill the warrior spirit within the Sikhs, because it was important to do that. It wasn't just going to be, all right, I want you guys to start fighting now, so here's some sastras and go do your best, right? No, right? You have to change the people's psyche as well, right? Now, you can't become a warrior just by having shastras. You have to become a warrior here first, right? Fir bhave shastra hove na hove, right? Then you'll do some damage, right? Obviously, you'll do a lot more damage if you have got a shastra. But if you're not a spy in here, ਉਹਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਫੜਾ ਦਿਓ, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਹੱਥ ਕੰਬਣਗੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਹੱਥੋਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੜਾਇਆ ਡਿੱਗ ਪਊਗਾ. Maharaj needs to change that. ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੁਜ਼ਦਲੀ ਕੱਢਣੀ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਗਿਆਨੇ ਕੀ ਬੜਨੀ ਮਨੋ ਹੱਥ ਲੈ ਕਾਤਰਤਾ ਕੁਤਵਾਰ ਬਹਾਰ ਹੈ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਚਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਹਨ ਵੀ how do we get rid of our cowardness, right? ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਗਿਆਨ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. And how do we psych ourselves up? And at that time, like I said, we didn't have the history that we have now and talk about those great warriors and great Sikhs. But at that time, there were other warriors, right, from history that Maharaj made sure that the Sikhs hear about them. So that when they hear about such people, such heroism, then they want to do the same thing. So Tadivara, and then Maharaj would do Katha. Okay, Maharaj would do Katha, and the Katha would be of Biras as well. All those stories that would be told would be stories of warriors. Okay, and then at the same time, people would come to Maharaj. This is about the governance bit now, right? Now, when you have a city or a country, you have a parliament, right? And then you have procedures where if something's not right, or someone's being a victim of something, or something's going wrong, or something's not right, how things are working, then there's somebody that you go and see and you solve these issues out. And then for us, for Maharaj, Maharaj made that place for those kind of things as well. So at the same time, Maharaj would sit there, right, and there would be Tadivara going on, Biras Katha going on. At the same time, people would come and they will talk about their complaints as well, what happened, or if some Mughals, or it was quite common for them to come and attack or just take people's money or their daughters or whatever it was, right? For the corrupt officials to do that. So who do they turn to? If the officials are doing that, then who do they turn? They can't turn to the officials because they're the ones who are doing it. Who do they turn to? There has to be an alternative place. And Maharaj made Akal Takht Akal Bunga that very place, that where hope kind of dies everywhere else, Maharaj revives it as Sri Akal Takht Sahib. So people knew that if they couldn't get any justice or couldn't get things sorted, there's one place that they can get it sorted, and that's Akal Takht Sahib. And the people started flocking to Maharaj with their problems and issues, and no one else, right? And then obviously Maharaj would then issue Hukumname as well. And then at the same time, Guru Sahib Ji will reward those brave Sikhs and other brave leaders of community as well. So make sure that people see that happening. Okay, that it's not just that, they are doing all of this and it's gone unnoticed. No, Maharaj took care of them. Maharaj looked after them, right? How are you going to inspire the rest? If you see somebody who's done something good and the Guru Sahib has given them a bakshish, rewarded them, now you want to be minimum bakshish Shaheedi Maharaj. That was having a domino effect on people, right? They see other things and other people getting shabash from Maharaj, and they wanted the same, right? And Maharaj made sure that it was all out in the public and for public to see, for people to see. It was very important, right, to change their psyche. Wrestling and other physical activities would take place. Shastras would be displayed to the Sangat and how to use them, horses. And also, that was a gathering point. Every morning, after Asaj Diwar, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj would gather with the rest of the Sikhs and anybody else who wanted to come along to go on a hunting expeditions as well. Sri Akal Takht Sahib tayar ho ke fir uthon mara jaya karde sige. Right? And Maharaj, including those in those hukumnames, were Maharaj's hukum to bring the best shastra that they could get hold of. Bring the best shastras, Maharaj said. Don't bring any other gifts. I don't need any money. Maharaj said, if you're going to bring something, bring the best shastras, bring the best kode. And if you have nothing like that, just bring yourself. And Maharaj, very soon, okay, after Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's Shaheedi happened, very soon, right after that, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj had built their own takht, own throne. Sikhs had their own throne. They had their own parliament, right? They had their own Paj, 400, 400 de kareeb Ghoswar Maharaj would have in their Paj, right? And more joining, right? And this was Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj's response. And it all came about from the construction of Tabla Sahib, which is Akal Bunga, which is Akal Takht Sahib. All of that was made possible from Sri Akal Takht Sahib. And if you remember what I said in the beginning, why do that from Sri Akal Takht Sahib? Maharaj could have done that from Sri Harmandir Sahib as well. Maharaj could have done that from Harmandir Sahib as well. No. There was a reason for it, right? And Maharaj wanted the Sikhs to see that we have a responsibility. It's not just about us अपनी कल्ली अखां मीड़ के माला फेरी जानी बाकी जो हुंदा होई जावे. Maharaj says we have a responsibility. It has become necessary for us to be able to sort out the situation that we face, and the way we're going to do this is how Maharaj laid out the plan, right? So Sri Akal Takht Sahib became the place for everyone to come and gather, right? Koi bhi problem hundi, any other issues, where do we go and get them solved? We go to Sri Akal Takht Sahib. That's how we get them solved. And we're going to talk about how that played a role during 1984 as well, okay? And the reason why they really wanted to destroy Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Okay. All right? And Maharaj, a great warrior, visionary, then also they formed, so their defense ministry, they formed a front line, okay, by Langahaji was made in charge of that, yeah, and by Bidhi Chandji in charge of a guerrilla warfare, right, by Puranaji, area intelligence. Now it's very important for us to kind of like, how many Sikhs do we know are in the intelligence? Well, like for us, working for us. There's one thing we do lack. Every government has intelligence. They know with that Gwandi ki karda, right? The people, what are they doing? Sanu te vi nahi pata hunda bhi sade gurudware ch guru ghar ch ki karda paya. We don't even know that. But that was encouraged. Maharaj gave us all the tools that we needed. And for that to take place, Akal Takht Sahib became a necessity, all right? And became a center for all of this. And by Pyara ji, ammunition by Jata ji, so jinne vi Ghoswar, the cavalry. So Maharaj had made in a very short space of time, just the sheer sort of heart that Maharaj had, it gave life to such a response. Yeah, such a response that Maharaj came with, and it wouldn't have been possible ਜੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਹਨੇ ਵੀਰ ਰਸ 'ਚ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ। ਜੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਲੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, we try and reason with them, we'll try and speak to them and we'll see what happens, right? But this has become the Sikhs' response now, and we keep getting slapped and we keep getting pushed to the ground, is because we don't want to do anything. We are like those masands. We don't really want to fight, right? But we just want the situation to be resolved. But this is not how things happen in the real world. And Maharaj showed us how things get done. And Maharaj made sure, the Sikhs back then made sure how things are meant to be getting done, they're getting done that way, right? As in, just give you a very small example, and just in the recently you might have seen a few videos been going around of, there's a group of Sikhs who go to Manikarn, or going to Manikarn, and they have to go into a state called Himachal Pradesh, yeah? And how they were stopped just by 3-4 Himachali jede sige, the locals there were stopped. They stopped the group of the Sikhs, right? On their motorbikes, they had photos of Santhiya. I don't know if you've seen that. Some of you might have seen it. And just the 3-4 jane, and there's like a whole, like a group of the Sikhs. And there's only 3-4 jane, and they stopped the Sikhs, and they're pulling their little flags, right, from their motorbikes, and not just even pulling them, trying to like break them. And what was the Sikhs' response? What has been the Sikhs' response? And it's not a new thing, right? I'll tell you what one of the Sikh responses that made me laugh, right? They have some sort of Sikhs in law or something like that. They're like, the guy who's done it, we're going to make sure that, we do some kanuni karwai on that person. We make sure we report that. We make sure we report that guy to the police. It's their police. But what I'm saying is, this is how Bujdal we become. We're trying to find every other way but pick up our shastra. We're trying to find every other way, just like those Masans. Or when we send a delegation, we'll speak to them and say, look, thada bhaichara kharab hunda ji. Kala bhaichara. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕਦੀ ਭਾਈਚਾਰਾ ਸਮਝਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਆ ਵਾ ਫਿਕਰ ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦੀ। ਉਹ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚਪੇੜਾ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਗਾਲਾਂ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਐਵੇਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਭਾਈਚਾਰਾ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ। They don't care. Maharaj knew that they're not going to care. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਰਵਾਹ. That's why Maharaj gave us our own sovereignty. Maharaj gave us Akal Takht Sahib, right? And the opposition, the enemy, knows how powerful it is, that place, that is Sri Akal Takht Sahib. And then that the Sikhs get back control of Sri Akal Takht Sahib, then they're going to change the whole Punjab, the situation of Punjab overnight. They know that how important it is. And this is why recently that it has become more of an issue now. ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜਥੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਵੀ ਜਥਾ ਬਦਲਤੇ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰ, that's not a new thing. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਲਾਏ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਲਾਏ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਕੇ ਲਾਏ ਸੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਪੁੱਛ ਕੇ ਲਾਏ ਸੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਦਈਏ ਜੀ ਪੰਥ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਨਜ਼ੂਰ ਆ ਪੰਥ, ਨਹੀਂ। No, they know how important it is for us to have control of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Because if the Sikhs have control of Sri Akal Takht Sahib, go back to the bachan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Don't give a position of power to a non-Sikh. And Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਹੈ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਗੈਰ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦਾ, ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਪ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਆ, ਇਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਆ ਇਹ ਆਪ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਕਰਨਗੇ. That's why it made it necessary for us to have full control of it. ਹੁਣ we'll come to why we are in a situation that we are in. But just the point I'm trying to make is, look at Maharaj's response to that. Don't you think there would have been Sikh who would have got hurt or would have got Shaheed, lost their lives? Of course they would have. You know, ajikal, we start saying, oh, no, we can't do this, we can't do that. But anyway, this was Maharaj's response, and such a response. You know, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਡਿੱਗੇ ਪਏ ਸੀ, Maharaj ਨੇ ਖੜੇ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ. 9 years of age. 9 years of age did all of that. Obviously, we can't compare because they're Maharaj. Whatever age they're in, they're Maharaj. They're complete. You know? So what I'm trying to say is, it's like this used to be how we were. And what we've become now, ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨੀ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਪਾਉਣ ਜੋਗੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ. It makes me laugh ਵੀ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨੀ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਆ, ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਆਪ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨੀ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਪਾਉਣੀ? Well, like I said, we become so ਬੁਜ਼ਦਿਲ, ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਬੁਜ਼ਦਿਲ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਲਾਹ ਲੱਭ ਲਓ ਬਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਸ ਕੋਈ ਲੜਨਾ ਨਾ ਪੈ ਜਾਏ ਕਿਤੇ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਰਾਹ ਲੱਭ ਲਓ. ਹੈ ਨਾ? That's been tried. You keep getting slapped and knocked to the ground. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? But anyway, I'm going off on one, so I have to come back to the so now ਕਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਓਏ ਉੱਥੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ. Say ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਕਿਉਂ, ਸੰਤਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਰੱਖੇ, and this that and the other. I know people say why were shastras kept in 1984 and things like that, right? Now ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਮੂਰਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਵੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਆ ਮਗਰ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਘਰ ਰੱਖਣੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਪਾਗਲ ਹੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਹੂਗਾ. ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਧਰਮ ਆ, ਆਵਾ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਸਥਾਨ Sri Harmandir Sahib, people have attacked it before and they're still doing it. How else are you going to defend it? You're going to have shastras there. ਉੱਥੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਨਾ. ਉਹ ਮੂਰਖ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਕਹੂਗਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਮਗਰ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਗਵਾਂਢੀ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਰੱਖਣੇ. ਘਰੇ ਹੀ ਰੱਖੋਗੇ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ made different bunge, right? So ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਈ ਬੁੰਗੇ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਨਾਰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ, ਰਾਮਗੜੀਆ ਬੁੰਗਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the top right, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਉਹ ਮਨਾਰ ਕਾਹਨੂੰ ਰੱਖੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਉੱਚੇ? What do you think the reason was for that? ਹਾਂਜੀ.
So like if the Dwarf Sahib gets attacked, they'll be high and they could use bows and
Absolutely. ਉਹ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਦੇਖੋ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਖਿੱਚ ਲੈਣਾ, ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਆ, and ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਖਿਚਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. But there was a reason for it. The reason was ਵੀ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਚੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ then they get spotted, right? It's because it's not on a ਵੀ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਾੜੀ ਤੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਦੇਖ ਪਏ ਕੋਈ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? Because they knew, Maharaj knew and the Sikhs knew that these attacks will keep happening over and over again, and we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared, right? And ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉੱਥੇ you got so they call it ਰਾਮਗੜੀਆ bunga, ਉਹ ਮਨਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ. Then we have a ਝੰਡਾ bunga, right, where you got the two Miri Piri, that was called a ਝੰਡਾ bunga, and that's Shaheedi bunga. Anybody know what that is, Shaheedi bunga? Oh, you have a Shaheedi bunga here? ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ. ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਸਥਾਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? So you had different places for like it was made sure that we are equipped and ready for anything, you know? We don't want to get caught off guard, you know? So that is fortifying. when you have a Manara, right, a lookout, you're trying to fortify and you're trying to make sure, and you got the Sri Akal Takht Sahib as well. ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਧਰਮ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਹੁਣ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕੌਣ ਕਰੂਗਾ? ਅਸੀਂ ਹੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਨਾ, ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ, ਹੋਰ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕਰਨੀ? Who's going to make sure that we safeguard our asthana and our dharma? Who's going to make sure of that? We ourselves. No one else is going to do. No one from the Hindu community, Muslim community, or some Christians are going to come, or some other, person is going to come and say, look, don't worry, we will look after you, we will defend you. History tells us otherwise. They're the same ones who are attacking us. So who's going to do that? Whose job is that? That's our own. Sadi apni. So we'll be absolute fools if we expect any sort of justice, right, from anyone else other than ourselves. And that was the reason why Maharaj made Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Maharaj says, don't go anywhere else. You go in and, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਅਦਾਲਤ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਪਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਲਾਤਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਲਾਤਾ, right? We're idiots. I'm sorry to say, but we're idiots. That has never worked for us. Never worked for us. No one has turned around and said, oh, you know what? What's happened to you guys? So wrong. So we need to sort this out. What do you need? Yeah? Let's make sure we change the law. We make sure whatever your people need, we'll give it to you, and make sure this doesn't happen again. No one's done that. Maharaj says no one is going to do that. The only place you need to turn to is Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Nothing else is going to save us. No one else. Even now, people are realizing. Yeah, as I said, everyone's like, oh, aaj badalta, yo badalta. They've been doing it for so long. Sanu hone hi jaag aayi. 2-4 दिन ऐसी रोला पा के मुड़ के फिर उत्थे आ जाना. Why we're not going to be able to, कहते ना भी अकाल तख्त साहब आज़ाद नहीं है. ताइयों ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਅਦਾਲਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਖੜਕਾ ਲਓ ਬੂਏ, ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰ ਲਓ. UN ਚਲੇ ਜਾਓ. UN really interested. UN ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਆਪ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਮੁੱਕੇ ਆ. ਉਹ ਤੇ ਆਪ who's gonna. But like I said, we have the birthday of those masans. ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਾ ਪਵੇ, ਸਾਡੀ ਜਾਨ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਵੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਲੜਨਾ ਨਾ ਪੈ ਜੇ, ਹੋਰ ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਈਏ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਮਾਰੇਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਫਿਰ ਬਾਕੀ ਕੰਮ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਠੰਡੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੇ. So that was the reason why Maharaj made sure that ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਵੇ, right? So we had what happened. I'm just going to try and speed things up a little bit here because I've spent a bit too long. So now try to understand the situation. Now this is going to help you understand ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਹੋ ਕੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹੁਣ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਾਲ ਆ, ਸਾਡੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਆ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਸਾਡੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ, ਸਾਡੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹਾਲਤ, ਉਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਈ. So Guru Sahib to ਲੈ ਕਰਕੇ and then the first jathedar, if you like, okay, were appointed by Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj themselves, by Gurdas Ji, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਾਮਾ ਜੀ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਸੀ, ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ, ਫਿਰ ਭਾਈ ਮਨੀ ਸਿੰਘ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਭਾਈ ਮਨੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਹੋਏ, ਫਿਰ ਦਰਬਾਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ. Right, I'm just going to go, just kind of like flick through these, ਹੈ ਨਾ. Nawab Kapoor Singh, Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, and Baba Phula Singh ji, and Hanuman Singh, right? Now, if you see on the left, you see the two colours, yeah, the blue and you got the orange, right? So what the orange means is this is how we used to decide who the Jathedar is going to be of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. So that's Sarbat Khalsa, where all the Sikhs important from different sampradayas and Jathebandiyas and Nihang Singhs and Taksala and other Seva Panthis, all the different organizations would come together and the Sikh Sangat would come together and they'll choose who the Jathedar is going to be. Okay? And that system worked. And we have the Jathedars of Buddha Dal, Nihang Singh. Now, whoever used to be the Jathedar of Buddha Dal used to be the Jathedar of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Okay, does that make sense? So whoever was the Jathedar of Buddha Dal, Nihang Singh, used to be then the Jathedar of just like Nawab Kapoor Singh ji and Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, Baba Phula Singh ji and Baba Hanuman Singh ji. They were all Buddha Dal Jathedars, right? And they had the right, and they became, and whilst they were in charge, right, in charge, then we had the control. Okay, we had the control. And then obviously when the Shaheedi of Baba Phula Singh happened, and Baba Hanuman Singh ji as well, okay, you had Baba Prahlad Singh ji, right? And then ਉੱਥੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਪੰਗਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, right? That's where our problems then, obviously, when we lost our Raj, okay, this is where the problem then starts. Okay, when the British came, now the situation changed from us being Raje to like, because Sikhs were a minority at that time. Although we were the rulers, but we were the minority at that time. So when the Raj finished, we just became a minority. That's it. There's no Raj, no nothing. Kuch nahi reh gaya. We became a minority. So we had lost control of a lot of things because we had no Raj anymore. Can you imagine this? Can you appreciate the situation? From being Raje, all of a sudden now we're just just a minority living in Punjab. That's who we became then. And the British came. And British had studied our dharma, our religion. And they knew that why we are so strong is because of, why they are so strong because of their scriptures. Why? Because Sri Akal Takht Sahib. That these are sovereign people. When they first laid eyes on us, they're like, they have nothing. These people, they don't have, their clothes are ripped, or they have, and if they have any, because the way that they conduct themselves, the way they walk the earth, it's like they're kings, the rulers of this world, right? And they knew that that spirit had to be crushed and taken away from us. And for us to become slaves, right, they had to take us away from our dharma, right? And how do you take us away from our dharma? Is A, you physically take us away from our dharma, from our Guru Kars by, you had the Christian missionaries trying to convert the Sikhs, and then obviously, like I said, when we became a minority, and those people who just after, they have no loyalty to our dharma, right? Those Sikhs who had no loyalty to the Gurus or the dharma, they only became Sikhs because Sikhs were in charge. They were the ones who were ruling. So it became easier for them to just, live their lives if they were Sikhs. But when we lost our Raj, those people just disappeared. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਿੱਖ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਬਣ ਗਏ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਸੀ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਬਣ ਗਏ, and that's it. We became like a minority, right? And we found ourselves up against it. How do we? And then the British were like, okay, take their dharma, so physically take them away. But if not that, then how are we going to do that? We take over their dharma. We dictate their dharma to them, right? And they knew that we'll always be sovereign people. They won't be able to rule us. So they knew the only way to rule us if they ruled Sri Akal Takht Sahib. Right? So that was their plan. So everything's being put in place slowly. And they're like, we much rather have the Mahants, who were like Hindus, in charge of their Guru Kars than the Sikhs themselves. Because if they are in charge, right, they're going to pick their people back up. they're going to raise a mutiny against us, and they're going to be coming after us, right? So let's put people who are non-Sikhs in charge of the Guru Karaj. So they made the Mahants in charge. And then you had a system, the Sabras, right? They were just people who used to be the head of Harmandir Sahib at that point. And at that time, then those corrupt people started getting in. And the British wanted those corrupt people that they could buy with money and bribe with money to be in charge of our Guru Karaj Asthans. And whoever was the person in charge of Sri Harmandir Sahib was the person who was in charge of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. So slowly, and then the Prabandh, right, the looking after the Guru Karaj were then given to these Mahants, okay? And the situation got really bad. And we know about who knows about the Saka Nankana Sahib? Yeah, good. And Saka Panja Sahib and Jato Morcha, right? Nankana Sahib, just think about this, those of you who don't know, Nankana Sahib, where Sikhi sort of, took birth, if you like. Yeah, because the Prakash of Sikhi started from Sri Nankana Sahib, and that place became a no-go area for Sikhs, for Sikh women and girls and our sisters. Because they were taken in by these Mahants, and it would take them, they would be abducted, even the girls brought there, and they were raped in Nankana Sahib, inside. Can you even imagine? This was under the times of the British. They were like, yeah, you're fine. Because those Mahants, they were like, you keep feeding us, right? Don't care who's in charge. The British, if you're British, you are our masters, right? Keep throwing us a few scraps and, we'll do whatever you want to do. But then there was a movement, sort of brewing. The Sikhs were like, we need to do something, right? Sanu bhi kuch karna chahida. Okay? So this is just a list of all the Jathedars that we've had. So obviously, Yani Harpreet Singh and Yani Raghbir Singh, and now we got Kuldeep Singh. Okay, ji? This is just like a little timeline. Okay? So, and where did it go wrong then? Well, yeah, it had already gone wrong when we lost our Raj. The Raj chala gaya, uda pe maade din aage sade. Hai na? And the British, so Sabras, like I said, British to control the Sabras, those who were made in charge of our Guru Karaj. And then you had British stooges, like you had Maharaja Bhupinder, right, of Patiala, right? And they had Jathedar, well, we can't even call him Jathedar, Arood. And you have people like Sundar Singh Majithia. Okay, ji? Now, who knows about that Arood guy? Have you heard of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre? Yeah? And after it happened, but this is how the British used to do, they used to use people who looked like us, right, to kind of pacify us and made sure that we remain as just good little children, right? Don't do anything, okay? It's all right, because it's like, when we always try to kind of make sure that you don't have to do anything. So as soon as you hear or someone is doing something, you're like, chal theek hai. I'm kind of washing my hands of any responsibility now, because someone else is doing something, they've done something. I know. And this is how the British were. So when Jallianwala Bagh massacre happened, right, and the General Dyer was the person who was behind it. Now, obviously, the Sikhs were not happy that this has happened. So they're like, what shall we do? How do we calm them down? Right? Okay, let's call him in. right? Call him to Akal Takht Sahib, okay? And then we'll get him to just take Amrit and say, look, ਉਹਨੇ ਤੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ ਜੀ, right? And Sikhs will be like, okay, it's been dealt with now, right? This is how you deal with it. So she doesn't say you have to deal with it. But this guy, that Arud guy, was meant to be the Jathedar at that time, or person controlling. He called him in and said, look, to calm the situation down, you're going to have to become a Sikh. Baro, like, don't have to really become a Sikh. He goes, I don't want to, but I smoke, one of the things. He goes, do you smoke? He goes, yeah, but he's not allowed in Sikhi. He goes, yeah, but, so what do we do? He goes, chal tu ek pee liya kari. Right? Tu ek pee liya kari koi nahi. Tenu Sikh bana denne assi. Right? Duniya ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਸੀ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਚਲੋ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੰਮ ਰਫਾ ਦਫਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, that's it, right? And then gave him a sarupa. This guy, he's a murderer who murdered and butchered and killed so many innocent people, including obviously a lot of them were Sikhs, Musliman and Hindus, and the guy's given him a sarupa from Sri Akal Takht Sahib. He's getting a sarupa from Sri Akal Takht Sahib. But obviously, when things got a bit out of hand, now the Nankana Sahib massacre happened, and Punjab Sahib da morcha siga, and Sikhs were like, this is it now, right? Hun te jan kuch karna paina, jan karo jan maro, right? So the British knew that, oh, this situation needs to be brought under control. How do we do it? So they go to their stooges. Dekhan nu Sikh lagde, aj vi ohi kam hai. The people who are dictating to the Panth, they look like us, they dress like us, they have a dastar, they'll wear a kirpan, they will do everything that we do, magar andron ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਤਲਕ ਨਹੀਂ. They're not Sikh. They're just government stooges. ਉਦੋਂ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਹੁਣ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਆ. ਇੰਨਾ ਹੀ difference ਆ. There's no other difference, right? So they're like, whatever the Sikhs are going to do, we need to make sure that we control that situation. So at that time, you had the movements like the Akali Dals, and then you had the Chief Khalsa Diwans, and obviously you still had the Maharaja Patiala. Maharaja Patiala, right? He was such a perverted person. He had about over 350 wives. 350 wives he had, right? Now, he gives a suggestion to the British. Say, look, why don't you know, obviously, the situation had to be brought under control. So they turned to those, okay, that look like us. How are we going to deal with it? And he says, look, it's going to happen anyway, but why don't we make the Sikhs think they're doing something, right? And they're getting a resolution, but it'll be us doing it. Okay? So they come up with a plan, okay? They're getting their people like Sundar Singh Majithia. Have you heard of the name Majithia? In recent politics? Yeah, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਔਲਾਦ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ. ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦਾ ਬਿਕਰਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, right? He's like a great granddad, right? They were like that with the British, right? So they're like, okay, why don't we? So the Sikhs not happy with the monks being charged, how the British are running our Guru Kars. Now, how do we make them think that they are in charge, but they're not? It's really us. They're like, okay, we'll get together this SGPC, Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, right? And 175 jane, there were 175 members of SGPC about 100 years ago in 1920, 1920 ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ. Over 100 years ago, that's how old the SGPC is, right? They said, what we'll do from Akal Takht Sahib, we'll say that we are making a committee that will take care of all the Guru Kars. So dupe the Sikhs into believing and thinking the Sikhs are back in charge of their own Guru Kars. But what they had done, 36 out of the 175 were British Khas Bande. They were loyal to the British, right? And the rest of them, who were then after the Morcha of Jato, they were locked up, right? After Nankana Sahib and Panja Sahib Morcha, those Sikh leaders who were locked up, they were pardoned or let go on one condition, that they will support this organization, right? And then as GPC came into being, and it was created, and they passed an act, it's 100 years this year, I think 1925, they passed this act called Gurdwara Act, okay, which took, Sikhs at that time thought, yes, we got control back. They didn't. They signed away the control of the Guru Kars to whoever's going to rule us, right? Because then it became not just a religious organization, but a political one as well, right? So in 1925, they passed this act called Gurdwara Act. And under that act, SGPC can choose, right, who the next Jathedar is going to be for us. If they want to remove a Jathedar, they can remove SGPC can do that. Not the Panth, but SGPC can do that. And who's at that time the first Jathedar of SGPC was Sundar Singh Majeethia, right, who was in bed with the British anyway. And it was during those times that our actual Maryada was hurt the most. ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ 3 ਬਾਣੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਦਸਮਗੰਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਬਰਸ਼ਾ ਸਰੂਪ ਤੇ ਬਰਸ਼ਾ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚੋਂ. The people like that. ਜਿੰਨੀ ਵੀ ਕੱਟ ਵੱਧ ਕੀਤੀ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਪੰਥੀ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਹੋਈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. that was the reason why they were there. ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ, till today, SGPC has control, not you and me. ਜਿੰਨਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਰੋਲਾ ਪਾ ਲਓ, ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਬਦਲਤਾ ਜੀ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ, ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਇਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਇਆ, ਪਿਛਲਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲਾਇਆ ਫਿਰ ਲਾਤਾ, ਹੁਣ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਪਏ ਆ. We are being duped into thinking, no, it's us who are in charge of our jathedars. No, we lost that control when the British came. We lost that control. And we're duped into thinking that this is our organization who's considered, who's concerned about the Sikhs, the welfare of the Sikhs. No, they're not. They're there to take your money that comes in, use it against you and fill their own pockets, right? And then they were like, you can't have that Jathedar, we tell you who you're going to have. And there's not a single thing you can do about it. And we can't. Do you see a single leader of the Panth? Doesn't matter if it's some Nihang Singhs or Taksals or any other Samprada, is saying, nahi. ਉੱਦਾਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਬਿਆਨ ਦੇਈ ਜਾਣ, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨੋ ਨਾ ਮੰਨੋ, ਅੱਗੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨੋ ਨਾ ਮੰਨੋ, we don't care. Who cares about you, ਮੰਨੋ ਨਾ ਮੰਨੋ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਬਿਆਨ ਦੇਈ ਜਾਓ. ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਘਸੀੜ ਕੇ ਲਾ ਦੇਣ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਉੱਦਾਂ ਬਿਆਨ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਦੇਈ ਜਾਓ, ਇਹ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ, right? When they ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਢੋਂਗ ਜਿਹਾ ਰਚਿਆ ਸੀ ਨਾ, when they like this comedy sketch that you saw of Badal going to Akal Takht Sahib and he's like sitting on a wheelchair and he's like, oh, wah kita, hanji main kita, this and all the other. मुड़ के बाहर बैठा सीगा, right? हुण जेड़े ना उत्थे आके बयान दिंदे आ, बाहर बैठा सीगा, तुसीं जांदे? गया कोई उन्हां चों? कोई भी नहीं गया। ये अजकल सिखां दी यही गल रह गई भी असीं बस कोई चैनल ते बयान देण जोगे रह गए, बई यही कहण जोगे रहने भी यही मनदे जी आह काम गलत होया, इन्ने काम जोगे रह गए, होर नहीं है। लुक एट गुरु हरगोबिंद साहब जी महाराज जी इज रिस्पॉन्स। महाराज जी कहते माला हुण रख दिओ, शस्त्र एक नहीं दो चुको, कोई किसी को राज ना दे है, जो ले है निज बल से ले है। महाराज कहते अपने बल दे नाल आ, यू गोना डिसाइड योर डेस्टिनी yourself, no one's going to do that for you. That's why Maharaj made Sri Akal Takht Sahib, and they know, and this is why they have control, because they know if we have a jathedar that we choose ourselves, right, then they're going to change the situation up, and they're going to take power away from them. You have the Panth still has that fire within them. We still have that fire. Just like when I was watching those going to that Himachal and they're having the Santhiya's pictures and the flags taken away, you could see that they had something. They wanted to do something. But then they lacked a leader. We lack a leader, a true jathedar. If we have that, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਦੇ ਦੇਣ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖ਼ਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? So many ਬੇਅਦਬੀਆਂ happen to the point where nobody cares anymore, right? You know, if you get a message or a video of a ਬੇਅਦਬੀ happening, you just scroll, you keep scrolling, you like ਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੀ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ. This is what we become. You know, Guru Sahib, ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ, you know, we have the ਸੋਨੇ ਦੀ ਪਾਲਕੀ 'ਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਰਾਜਮਾਨ ਕਰਕੇ, ਐਂਡ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਧੱਕਾ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਮੋਢਾ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਵੇ। ਉੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਪਾੜ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕੁ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਲਾਈਕ ਇਟਸ ਜਸਟ you know, to me, what does that mean? ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਣ ਗਏ? ਲਾਈਕ what sort of Sikhs are we? What sort of Sikhs are we? Hadi? Very ritualistic. Yes, thank you, man. It's like, you know, I'm like, ਕੀ ਸੀਗੇ and what are we now? ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖ਼ਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, ਗੁਰੂ ਕੀ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਸੁਣੇ ਨਾ, ਕੋਈ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੁਣੇ ਵੀ ਨਾ, ਭੇਟ ਕੀ ਜੇ ਤੇ ਸੰਕਰਪਾਨ, ਉਹ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰਹਿਤਨਾਮੇ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਹੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੱਢ ਦਿਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ। ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਰਹਿਤਨਾਮੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ, ਰਹਿਤਨਾਮੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਆ ਰਹਿਤਨਾਮੇ, they dictate if anybody does, they slander Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, your Guru, you show him the way of the Kirtan. ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ? ਜੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖ਼ਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਦੇ ਦੇਣ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੱਢ ਦਿਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਝਟਕਾ ਦਿਓ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕਰਦਾ। ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਬਿਆਨ ਆਇਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ? ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖ਼ਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਆਇਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਬਿਆਨ? ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਨਾ ਹੀ ਆਉਣਾ ਆ, ਆਉਣਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ। But there will be, hopefully, Maharaj's Kirpa, there will be a time when we're able to decide. And we're still being duped. You know, like how people they've come out in support of the previous Jathedar that was there before this one. It was the same. Just like how this guy's been put there, that guy was put in, like same as he has been put there. ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਲੜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਲੜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ ਯਾਰ, ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੀ ਜਾਓ, ਆਪ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਰਗੇ I shouldn't really say it to anybody else, ਆਪ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਰਗਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਬਸ ਉਹੀ ਲੱਭਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਯਾਰ ਕੋਈ ਦੂਜਾ ਕੁਛ ਮਾੜਾ ਮੋਟਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਨਾ, ਦੱਸ ਮੇਰੇ ਹੱਥ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੱਸ ਉਹ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਵੇ। But that's not why we had Sri Akal Takht Sahib. We lost, and then the enemy know that. So any government that comes in, they know if we control the Akal Takht Sahib, we control the Sikhs. We control their response. Yeah. And what they're trying to do now is the next phase, which is to remove any relevance of Sri Akal Takht Sahib so that it becomes a negative word for us. When we hear of Akal Takht Sahib or the Jathedars or whatever, that it just becomes that the Sikh, you don't want nothing to do with it. This is how it's becoming now. And that's what they want you to do, so that, jo Maharaj ne banaya siga, so that concept of being sovereign, that gets erased completely. But it has, even during the resistance times in 1984, people had started to come to Santhiya. Remember I mentioned about our own system. When people lost faith in the government, in the police, where do they go? If the police is the one killing you, raping you, then who are you going to call? Who are you going to go to? Who's he going to go to? Kinnu tusi sadana? But people started coming to Santhiya. That was one of the reasons why they attacked Sri Harmandir Sahib, because the government saw that they're losing control. People no longer have faith in the government, in the systems. They would go to Santhiya. Doesn't matter who it was. Doesn't matter if it was Sikhs or Hindus or Musliman, whoever it was. They would go to Santhiya. And Santhiya would resolve their problems and issues. And when Santhiya would speak, right, nobody would deny whatever jo Santhiya keh dende sige, wo sare man lende sige. Why? Because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕੁਝ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਐਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਗੋਲੀ ਦਾ ਡਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਮੰਨ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਆਪਣੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਮੰਨ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਗੋਲੀ ਦਾ ਡਰ ਹੋਵੇ। ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਗੋਲੀ ਦਾ ਡਰ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹ ਸਗੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੋਂ ਕਹੂਗਾ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਕੌਣ ਹੁੰਨਾ। Right? We had control, indirect control of Sri Akal Takht Sahib when people used to flock to Santhiya. Right? No longer people had faith in the system. They believed in the system of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. And to them, it didn't matter that it was Santhiya or a Sikh who's trying to sort their issues out. They just wanted their issues resolved. So, for us, it is important to realize the game that has been played with us, right? We need to wise up. Akal Takht Sahib Sri, now is the time to realize, and not just kind of then still get cheated, right? And still get bamboozled into thinking that, oh, we've got control back. No. We need to make sure that the Panth's destiny is decided by the Panth, not by an organization that is corrupt to the core. They only work for themselves. Okay, ji? So, anyway, my apologies. That's why they attacked Sri Akal Takht Sahib, because they wanted to take that away from us, because it had started to go back to how it was. Okay, ji? All right. Thank you for listening. Sorry I've gone really over, but if you got any questions, you can ask. But before you ask the questions, they have got the pizza there. So, just that. Mur ke na koi sada pizza thanda karata. So, but if not, I'm probably around for the next 5-10 minutes. If you want to just speak to me, personally, you can. But if you got a question, you can ask one now. Otherwise, we'll just I don't understand that question. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Haan ji. Yeah.
They can't make their own decisions. People are telling them how to make them. So as a bond, as a collective, how do we then get rid of the SGPC system? Because if you think about it, Hindustan has a government of its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
SGPC are under that government.
Yeah.
And a Gatka side is being
Then yeah.
by Muslims. So because there's this hierarchy, we're no longer independent.
Yeah.
How do we become independent?
I think that's going to be a struggle for us. Because they're not going to just go, all right, here he is back. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਂਭ ਲਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲੇ ਹਾਂ ਹਨਾ ਜੋ ਲੈ ਹੈ ਨਿਜ ਬਲ ਸੇ ਲੈ ਹੈ ਹਨਾ that's the only thing I could say.
Then we need to stop paying attention and stop giving importance to the
Absolutely. 100%. When these jathedars come, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਨਾ I'm not against anyone individually. I'm not against anyone individually, all right? But the thing is, as I said, don't get duped into thinking that they're our friends. They're not. What have they done for us, for the Panth, shall I say? ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਪੰਥ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਜੇ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਹੈਨਾ ਬੇਦਮੀਆਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਚਲੀ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਹੈਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਸਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਲੇ ਤਾਈਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਦਵਾਇਆ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੈਨਾ ਅਤੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੜੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਡੱਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉੱਥੋਂ that been taken away from us like ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਡੋਂਗਮਾਰ ਵਰਗੇ ਹੋਰ ਸਿੱਕਿਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ parts of India they have taken Guru Granth Sahib Ji out and said look this is our jagah now right ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਆ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਹੈਨਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਖਿਚਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ like ਚਲੋ for what reason we give like you're saying we give importance to these people but what have they actually they're just the same puppets as the one who's on now there's no difference there's the same ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਹੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਬੋਲਣਾ and we need to realise and yes we don't need to give any importance to anyone ਹੁਣ ਤੇ ਚਲੋ ਬਾਕੀ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ 15-20 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਪੰਥ ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਹਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਚਲੋ ਦੇਰ ਆਏ ਦਰੁਸਤ ਆਏ they say but hopefully but have pure faith in Maharaj ਇਹਦੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਤਰਲੇ ਪਾਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਹ ਤਰਲਾ ਹੀ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਹਾਂਜੀ sorry I'm going to finish now sorry I've got a bit kind of too involved I know there's little kids they're going what's that uncle G going on about right can you just get him to just shut up so we can have our pizza I'm going to do that now thank you very much Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh